welcome to On the Shelf episode number 27 of
Brutal Battle. And I don't know why we do this to ourselves, but the first beer is hazy.
Yes.
because
that's what's on the shelf.
Right. And that's a lot of why we end up doing hazy IPAs, because obviously if you've listened to this podcast enough, you know we're not big fans. We're not looking for these beers to drink on our free time. But when it's on the shelf, like Rebecca said, like that's primarily what's on the shelf. So it makes sense to do it. So I'm sure you people who listen who like hazy IPAs, you take our review of the hazies with a grain of salt. That is fine. That's probably what you should do. But we're going to dive into the first one. And this is actually, I don't think we've had this brewery on the podcast at all. We've talked about going and visiting them and then talking about them on an excursion episode. But I don't think we've had any of their beers on podcast. And I think off podcast life, I think we've had like twice beers from them, like 2 times. And I think they've been hoppy.
I don't remember.
Not sure. But the brewery is Cushwa Brewing, and they are out of Williamsport, Maryland. Now, this beer we have is Delusions of Virtue. It's a New England-style double IPA. It's 8%, and it's done with Kohatu, Eldorado, and Citra hops. And it's in a 16-ounce can. Oh, and I'll tell you right now, we have a bonus beer for this episode. So it's the 2 on the shelf beers, and a bonus beer because Kyle Norman told us we had to grab this beer and drink it because it was so good. So
it's also on the shelf.
It is also an on the shelf, yes. But we're throwing it in as just a bonus for this episode. But anyway.
We're not going to rank it with them?
No, we can.
Okay.
It's just we're typically just going to do 2 beers. Yeah. But in this instance, we decided, since we were grabbing it, just go ahead and throw it in as an extra beer in this episode. So it's a one-off thing that we're doing. Once again, as I'm pouring it, I can already tell it smells awesome. Like it's hitting my nose in the best way possible.
Very light.
It's it's like, it's not even like necessarily, like it is yellow, but it's like almost white.
Yeah.
Very interesting. A lot of head to it being retained from my aggressive pour. It smells awesome.
Does smell very good.
Like I said in the last on the shelf, hazy IPAs typically have amazing noses.
That citrus.
It smells really good.
Citrus juicy hot bomb.
Yeah, grapefruit, a little pineapple, orange. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little passion fruity.
You think so?
Yeah.
A little mango.
I get a little bit of a menthol-y smell, which makes me think maybe there's some cryo hops in this, which they give me that taste and smell typically, so we'll see. Yeastiness on the nose, but it's not crazy on the nose, so we'll see.
I actually kind of like this.
Yeah, that's
it's pretty solid, actually.
That's not bad.
As
far as a hazy goes,
I'm getting some of that yeasty characteristics, but I'm also that a lot of the flavor is still retained in the taste.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is one of those rare occasions where it's not all nose with a hazy beer. There's actually good flavor, relatively good flavor to back up that nose. It's not at the same level, obviously, because that's how it almost always is with hoppy beers in general. But yeah, it's pretty good. That oranginess, that pineapple-iness. Again, I do get a little of that menthol-y note that I was smelling. There's a slight pine to it as well. Mm-hmm. Actually, a little more than slight.
You get any bitterness?
Slight bitterness on the end.
Not much, though.
A little yeasty, but not as like aggressively yeasty as a lot of hazies end up being. So that's good. I'm glad that that's not as aggressive.
Yeah, I'll drink this.
That's pretty solid. Huh, okay. Good job, Cushwa. You made people who don't really like hazies enjoy a hazy.
Yeah. I'm excited to go there because they have these rad pie pizzas. Mm-hmm. And we've never been there, so I'm not sure if like it's like attached or next door. But anytime you talk about going to Cushwa, everyone's like, you got to get pizza.
Yeah. Well, and recently Rebecca and I were driving somewhere that was like an hour drive, so we always try to come up with things to talk about. And she was reading me the menu, like every item on their Rad Pies menu, and I was just like, these sound insane. First of all, they're not pizzas I've heard before. You know, like the ingredient mixes
very
are
interesting.
Yeah,
unique.
very. But they sound amazing.
I know. So we're going to have to, we definitely need to check them out.
Mm-hmm. And when we go check out Cushwa, we can check out Homemade.
Which is next door.
As well, which is very close. So
yeah.
Okay, second beer.
Okay, second beer. Do you want to look what this is? This just a sour, do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So this is by
Deciduous?
Yes, Deciduous.
I assume it's just
up and down the can.
Brewing. Yeah.
Deciduous Brewing Company. And they are at a New Market.
New Hampshire?
Yes. Man, I saw NH and I was like, brain fart, what is NH? It's called Lollipop Forest, and it is blueberry and plum crumble.
Mm-hmm. So
and that's all that's on the can. So
we've never had anything from Deciduous on podcast and off podcast. So this brewery's brand new for us. So this satisfies the away from Maryland thing that we're going for with one of these beers. So New Hampshire,
yeah,
significant distance for us.
And they had another Lollipop Forest when we were there, and that was Jelly Donut.
Yes. I wanted to do this one, and I think you did too, because Jelly Donut's a little more like, what are you going to get with that? Yeah. At least there's kind of like some sort of flavor expectations with this one.
Blueberry and plum. So I'm going to say it should be a pretty color.
Yeah, it looks pretty. Definitely. Looking nice. It probably is a sour.
It's like a hazy ruby.
Yes, it is. Yeah. And it's obviously, you can't see through it. Decent head hanging out on top.
Smells good. I'm getting it.
Ooh.
A little lemon.
This smells a little like...
a little Naked Cheerio.
This smells a bit like a Secret Machine by Dewey.
I could see that.
Dewey Beer Company makes the best fruited sours with their Secret Machine line. And this kind of smells a bit like those. I get like this crumble, like that cinnamon granola type smell.
That's what I was just going to say. I'm getting lemon. I'm getting blueberry.
Ooh, that smells really,
I'm not
really
sure I'm
nice.
Getting plum. Plum is kind of such a mild flavor.
There's a nice sweetness to the nose, but it's not too sweet. There's a nice tanginess to the nose. Like
there's a snap.
The sour, yeah.
There's a snap to it.
I definitely get that lemon you're talking about. But here's the thing. Like when I was talking about like the cinnamon and like the granola, it's like it's baked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a particular smell with baked granola versus not baked granola, and it just has like that baked granola smell in there.
It smells like, besides the plum,
right? It
smells like what it should be. So we'll see how it tastes.
Mm-hmm. It is good.
Ooh,
it is good.
You're definitely getting the cinnamon. You're definitely getting that crumble component.
Honestly, that's the first thing I taste. Like, it hits you with the cinnamon, the baked granola first, and then the fruit comes in. And you're just like, you definitely get the blueberry. Like, it definitely tastes like blueberry. The plum, hard to discern in there.
Oh, it does say fruited sour ale with milk sugar. 5.5%.
It is creamy. It is smooth. It's light, too.
Very good.
And it's more like low tartness. It's not sour, really. It's like low tartness. I mean, I'm not going to say this is as good as a Secret Machine, but it's not too far off.
I love this beer.
It really is
so tasty. It makes me regret that we also didn't get the Jelly Donut to try.
I mean, we can go back.
Yeah.
We don't live far from where we got this. This is very nice. I'm very happy with this beer. Nice work, Deciduous. Wow. Way to introduce yourself to us. I love it.
Very tasty.
Ooh. I'm going to really enjoy finishing that one off. Man, oh man. And that makes me want to try even more of their stuff. I find it unfortunate now that they only had 2 of their beers there.
Yeah.
I want more. I want a lot more. Because how do they do other styles? That's the thing. Like, there are breweries where, they nail every style. There are also breweries where they're primarily one style, like, other half just does like hazy IPAs. They don't do that great of a job in anything else.
I love when beers have like that spice that's there, but not too much.
Right. It's like an accent.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. It's just like that little complementary flavor to go with the rest of the deliciousness. I totally agree with you. That's, pretty impressive. Really dig it. Bonus beer. I was going to say courtesy of Kyle Norman. Not really, because...
He didn't pay for it.
But he gave us the idea.
Yes,
it's because of him.
Yes, he suggested it and recommended it.
Yeah. So that is by Dogfish Head, and it is their Where the Wild Hops Are. And it's an IPA, and it is 6.5% alcohol. And with a lot of beers from Dogfish Head, it's actually in a bottle, not in a can, so it's 12 ounces. Oh, crap.
You need an opener.
Yeah, I don't have a bottle opener. I said 6.5. I think it actually says somewhere where no, it doesn't say what hops we're using in this. And there's no flavor text either. But it does tell you that it's from the design on it. It's from the Off-Centered Art Series featuring Max Mahn, M-A-H-N, who's the artist. And it's like a crude trap that you would use to try and trap some sort of creature with like a crate and a stick holding it up and like a string tied to it, and then there are like hops under there. So they're going to catch something.
Catch the wild hops.
Yeah, where the wild hops are. So I guess it's a reference to the story, maybe?
Where
the wild things are? Maybe. Okay, so I'm already getting a little whiff, and it's smelling West Coasty. So I'm
assuming it's West Coasty if Kyle recommended it.
Right, yeah. I don't think he really recommends hazy IPAs to us anymore. All right. Ooh, clear beer. You know how I feel about clear beer. I mean, it's not 100% clear. It's slight.
Yeah, there's a little haze to it.
Slightly hazy, but it's very orange.
Yes, very orange.
Love the appearance.
I'm getting a lot of resin.
Ooh. Yeah, that was the very first thing that occurred in my head. Very resiny. Very resiny.
It's like sticky.
Yeah. It just smells like pure lupulin, but like earthy notes to it. Yeah. There's a decent... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say dehydrated orange.
That's exactly what I was about to say. And a little bit of a pininess as well to go with that dehydrated orange. Decent bitterness on there. Chapstick? It's a little weird. I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a chapstick. Yeah, smells like chapstick. I'm not going to lie.
I'm not getting it, thank goodness.
And a little bubble gum. There's a slight bubble gum in there.
I never get bubble. Every time you say bubble gum, I'm like, I don't get it.
It smells good, though. Yeah, I'm excited for it. And there's also a little bit of a floral note in there as well. It smells nice. It smells like what I typically like to drink.
It's good. It's solid.
Yeah. That's interesting. Like, it tastes like it's kind of resiny, but it's also very light body-wise and kind of like, not in a bad way, but a little thin. So the flavor kind of falls off a little easier. It's not packing as much flavor punch as the nose would make you assume.
But it tastes like it smells, though. It kind of matches the same flavor nose notes. Yeah,
definitely resiny, definitely that dehydrated orange, definitely pininess to it.
Yeah.
And the pine level, I think, is higher on the flavor than it is on the aroma.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
It's good.
And then, the bitterness is there.
The bitterness is there. There is that bit of a floral note. And there's that little chapstick.
I'm not getting it.
Not tasting a bubblegum, though.
Okay. I'm not getting the chapstick. I definitely did not get the bubblegum. Everything else, I agree with you.
It's good, though.
I like it. This is kind of hard to rank. Because this is a good lineup. My number one was easy.
I'm going to, real quick, retry the Delusions of Virtue.
Give me a little splash of that.
Just because I feel like after the last two, I just need to go back and remind myself. Okay. Yeah, I know what I'm doing.
Okay, go ahead.
So my number 3, unfortunately, is going to be the Dogfish Head Where the Wild Hops Are. It is good.
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. That's just the IPA, like West Coast style IPA. And then my number 2 is the Delusions of Virtue, which is the New England style double IPA by Cushwa Brewing. And my number 1 is the Lollipop Forest Blueberry and Plum Crumble by Deciduous Brewing. That is really nice.
I'm the same.
Okay, cool.
But they're all really good.
Yeah,
The 2 hoppy ones are real close in my mind because it's kind of hard because they're very obviously different styles of IPA. So I always...
Yeah, and that's why I had to go back.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I did the same thing.
Yeah, otherwise, I mean, going into this, I assumed I'm probably going to like the Dogfish Head more, but not really in this instance. Like, I was more impressed with the hazy IPA that I typically don't like than I was with the West Coast IPA that I typically do like.
Now, are you ranking it higher because you were more impressed, or do you think...
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. But I feel like that just makes it a higher bar for how we evaluate those types of beers. So it is more impressive that it made it
as high as it did.
Right. So I think if you're getting an equivalency, it's definitely above the Dogfish Head one. So anyway, so that was it. I don't feel like going over all the stuff. Listen to another episode and get that. The only important things are this. Rate us and review us on whatever podcatcher you use. And also, word of mouth, tell people about the podcast. And that's about it. And then if you want to email us, brutalbattlepodcast@gmail.com. But anyway, thanks everyone for taking your time to check this out. Do you have anything else to say?
Other than just keep it brutal.